Yossi Beilin, he's a former Israeli Minister of Justice. He joins us from Tel Aviv. Good to have you with us. So first of all, these statements being reported in the Jerusalem Post attributed to Israel Katz saying the residents of Tehran will pay the price and soon. Is that indicative that we're about to see Israel try and engage in the sort of destruction it's inflicted, whether on Gaza or Beirut, on Tehran now, sort of wiping out of civilian areas?
Well, I don't think that the enemy of Israel is the citizens of Tehran or the citizens of Iran, the other way around. I still remember days in which Iran was a very close ally of Israel. Many Israelis went there, many Iranians came to us. On an official level,
but you may
private
see that way, Yossi. But do you think Israel Katz and the current government sees it like that? Listening to those sorts of words, I mean, Tehran will burn, residents will pay the price. Makes you wonder what's in their minds.
Well, I don't think that this is even the target of the current government, and I think that if it is very stupid.
Let's talk about some of the Iranian strikes. How disruptive are they proving on the Israeli economy, on life as normal, on some of those important installations in Haifa?
I don't know about Haifa, but I know that life in Israel is not normal now for several days since this war or confrontation began. Schools are closed, people don't go to work, the transportation is closed. So of course it has a heavy price on our daily life, and of course the casualties every night. And nevertheless, I think that most of the Israelis are accepting the price and supporting this war, unlike the attitude, by the way, to the war in Gaza, in which many Israelis demand that it will end immediately. This is not the case with Iran. We understand that Iran is a rogue country which intends to wipe out Israel, and saying it very openly many years. And it's about time to put an end to it, either by an agreement, which, of course, in my view, is better than anything else, or by force. And since in the last 60-odd days, the negotiations with the United States did not bear fruits, there was no other way on the verge of the weaponization of the installments in Iran than to use force. I hope that it is not just using force for force, or God forbid killing innocent people there, but in order to tell Tehran that Israel has its power, and it cannot accept the situation whereby another member of the UN is calling for the annihilation of Israel. This is really unacceptable.
I'm listening to you there, and I'm wondering, thank you for explaining, of course, the Israeli perspective, but I'm wondering if it's sinking at all into the Israeli perspective, how Israel is increasingly being seen as a rogue state, given the fact that all the things that you talked about, you know, there are those who would throw back at Israel and say, it's a country that talks, whose ministers have openly talked about even using nuclear weapons in Gaza as being something that's not ruled out, talking about creating a Nakba, sort of ethnic cleansing of Palestinians. It is an occupying power, unlike Iran. And also, unlike Iran, it's engaged currently in a war that has 36 UN special experts and international human rights groups saying is engaged in a genocide. Does any of that factor into the Israeli thinking at this point?
Well, I don't want to compare Israel to Iran. With all due respect, it is a dictatorship. It is a cruel dictatorship, a pain in the neck for many countries, especially the
Many
Arab
would say
countries
Israel
around
is a cruel
Israel.
occupation. I mean, that doesn't really justify
Okay,
the
but
question of
what
war.
do you want to tell me? That we should accept the nuclearization of Iran? No way. No way. We can argue until tomorrow about whether or not Israel is behaving properly. And believe me, as an opposition to the
That's not my
government of
question. So
Israel,
my
I have
question
a
is
lot
it
to say
factoring
about it.
into the Israeli thinking, maybe ending
No,
occupation, ending
no,
the doctrine
no.
of... No, it's not. Okay. Do
Ending
policymakers that...
occupation is something. No. Sorry, I didn't hear
Yeah,
your
ending
full question.
occupation,
Ending
ending the
occupation is
doctrine
something
of
else.
regional hegemony, that Israel can only survive if it has complete hegemony over the region and remains the only sort of nuclear power that has absolute power over everybody else, seems to be the thinking of when you listen to what many Israeli policymakers are saying.
Well, the issue of the territories and the occupation is something else, and it should end by an agreement and by the two-state solution. Tehran is demanding, as you know very well. I mean, this is not their policy; it is the policy of many other countries in the region, of course. And the current Israeli government opposes it. This is true. But it doesn't have to do with the nuclear threat of Iran. This is something that many Israelis, I cannot say that all the Israelis, but I'm sure that many Israelis are accepting the idea that we had to act if there is no agreement with the Iranians.
All right, Yossi Beilin, former Minister of Justice, thank you so much for joining us.